Welcome to Jamaica's history, where facts come first, and every story is told with depth and clarity. Subscribe now to explore the leaders, legends, and moments that shape this beautiful island. Today, we turn the lens on Mark Jefferson Golding, leader of the People's National Party and Jamaica's current opposition leader. Son of privilege but champion of reform, Golding's life is a blend of financial success, political struggle, and national service. Let's take you through his youth, career, key achievements, family challenges, and his vision for Jamaica's future. Mark Golding was born on July 19, 1965, in Kingston, Jamaica. His father, Sir John Golding, was a pioneering orthopedic surgeon credited with establishing Jamaica's National Rehabilitation Center and performing groundbreaking surgeries that restored mobility to polio and accident victims. His mother, Dr. Sheila Golding, was a prominent academic and chair of the Public Service Commission. Mark's upbringing was deeply academic and service-oriented. He attended Jamaica College, JC, one of the island's elite schools where he excelled in academics and displayed leadership qualities. But unlike many of his schoolmates destined for private sector leadership, Golding's journey would eventually veer towards public service. After Jamaica College, he left for England, where he studied law at the University of Oxford, one of the world's most prestigious institutions. There, he honed his skills in legal analysis and developed a broader worldview. Returning home, he attended the Norman Manley Law School, qualifying as an attorney at law with specialization in corporate, finance, and commercial law. Before politics, Mark Golding made his name in Jamaica's private sector. In 1993, alongside Peter Bunting and Christopher Deering, he co-founded Deering, Bunting and Golding, DB&G, an investment and brokerage firm. Under Golding's leadership, DB&G became one of Jamaica's largest investment houses, pioneering access to financial markets for middle-class Jamaicans during the 1990s economic reforms. His work at DB&G wasn't just about profit. It modernized Jamaica's capital markets, making investment opportunities more accessible beyond Kingston's elite. In 2006, DB&G was sold to the Bank of Nova Scotia, Jamaica for $2.7 billion Jamaican dollars, a landmark deal that cemented Golding's reputation in finance. He later served as chairman of the Financial Services Commission, FSC, and board director at the Bank of Jamaica, helping to shape Jamaica's financial regulatory framework during a period of major economic shifts. Mark Golding's formal entry into politics came in 2007 at age 42, when he was appointed to the Senate on a PNP ticket. But his political baptism truly began in 2011, when he was appointed Minister of Justice under Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, following the PNP's landslide election victory. As minister, Golding tackled some of Jamaica's most entrenched legal challenges. He spearheaded the abolition of criminal libel in 2013, a colonial-era law that curtailed press freedom, oversaw the passage of the Criminal Justice, Plea Negotiations and Agreements Act in 2017, a reform aimed at clearing Jamaica's notorious court backlogs, introduced measures to modernize the judicial appointment process, including strengthening the Judicial Services Commission, pushed through anti-corruption legislation like amendments to the Proceeds of Crime Act, POCA, widening its reach against organized crime and financial fraud, piloted the Charities Act of 2013, which cleaned up the sector and made it more transparent. Despite his successes, critics said his legal reforms didn't go far enough to tackle Jamaica's deeper crime epidemic, especially in inner cities. In 2017, Golding transitioned from Senate to the ground level, replacing the legendary Omar Davies as MP for St. Andrew Southern, a constituency that includes tough inner-city communities like Arnett Gardens, Jungle, and Craigtown. Golding, an uptown native, made deliberate efforts to build grassroots connections in this PNP stronghold. He sponsored housing schemes in collaboration with the Housing Agency of Jamaica, established scholarship programs for underprivileged youth, backed community policing efforts aimed at reducing gang violence in areas plagued by turf wars. His reputation in St. Andrews Southern is that of a quiet builder rather than a flashy politician, often personally involved in local dispute resolutions and youth initiatives. After the PNP's crushing defeat in the 2020 general elections, where they lost 49-14 to Andrew Holness's Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, then leader Dr. Peter Phillips resigned. Golding stepped forward and won the PNP presidential election in November 2020, narrowly defeating Lisa Hanna with 1,740 votes to her 1,444. As leader of the opposition, Golding has faced the monumental task of rebuilding the PNP, revamping party structures to appeal to younger voters and independents, navigating internal factionalism between the party's old guard and new progressive wing, calling for a wealth tax on Jamaica's wealthiest citizens during the pandemic, a controversial move that highlighted his left-leaning economic philosophy, proposing reforms to tackle Jamaica's $2 trillion public debt and build local manufacturing. His leadership, however, has faced criticism for lacking the populist flair of past PNP leaders like Michael Manley and Portia Simpson Miller. Detractors say he needs to sharpen his charisma and street-level connection, especially in an era where political brand matters as much as policy. Mark Golding is married to Sandra Airy Golding, a private individual who has largely stayed out of the political limelight. Together they have 3 children. Golding has kept his family shielded from public exposure, believing that political life should not intrude on personal privacy. Despite this, friends describe him as a devoted husband and father, with his family playing a grounding role amid the pressures of political leadership. Mark Golding's areas for growth are well documented. Charisma and mass appeal. He's been called too technocratic and uptown by critics who feel Jamaica's political culture demands more firebrand leadership. Youth engagement. The 2020 election showed that many younger Jamaicans have drifted toward apathy or to the JLP. Golding's team has been working to modernize PNP's digital outreach. Crime and security. His vision on crime policy remains under development. While advocating for social investment, Jamaicans continue to demand tougher, clearer crime-fighting plans. Internal party unity. The PNP has been rife with factional splits, and Golding's ability to unify the party will determine whether he can lead it back to power. Golding has laid out a progressive agenda, a wealth tax to redistribute income more fairly, land titling reforms to empower ordinary Jamaicans with property ownership, promotion of local manufacturing and reducing import dependence, transition in Jamaica toward a green economy with renewable energy, continuing judicial reforms, including full digitalization of court processes, advocating for a Republican Jamaica, supporting the removal of the British monarch as head of state. His economic vision leans left, echoing the social democratic ideals of Michael Manley, but tempered by his own capitalist success in finance. His challenge is to convince middle-class Jamaicans that this mix is the future. Mark Golding's legacy is still evolving, but already he stands as a rare blend in Jamaican public life. A banker turned justice reformer, an uptown son walking inner city streets, a technocrat trying to revive a populist party. Whether he will one day become prime minister depends on whether he can bridge Jamaica's urban-rural divide, mend his party, and capture the imagination of an increasingly younger and more skeptical electorate. But his contributions, from financial modernization to judicial reforms, have already carved his place in Jamaica's modern political tapestry. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the life and work of Mark Jefferson Golding, a man at the crossroads of privilege and public service, legacy and ambition. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Jamaica's History for more truth-driven explorations of our nation's leaders and legends. Until next time, walk good and